Welcome back. I had a project planned for this week, but the wood didn't dry in time, and I don't want to chance it. It came out much better than I thought it was going to, but I'll give you a sneak peek. The wood shop is sponsored by ChefwareKits and Easy Wood Tools. Okay, I'm making a lamp, and I turned the shade as well, and it came out much better than I was expecting. And it's just not quite dry, so I don't want to chance it and put it together and have it crack. So I'm just going to hold off on that till it's dry. I did have a lot of questions about the aluminum and the epoxy, so I'm going to mix up some more and show you how I do that. And I had a couple of questions about the camera cranes that I use here in the shop. They're mounted on the ceiling, and I use them for different things, for lights, for camera, and I use one of them for my dust collector sometimes over my surface sander. So I'll show you those here in a sec too, but let's mix up some epoxy. Okay, the epoxy I have is called System 3, and they do make a crystal clear one, which I'm going to get next time. This one has a yellow tint to it, but I'm going to put a little bit of food coloring in with it, and hopefully I turned the gear shift here. I just turned a walnut base for it, but it's yellow in there, and I'm going to try and eliminate that. I'm going to put a little bit of green food coloring in there, just to, I think the contrast from the shiny aluminum to the green will look much better. So anyway, so I'm going to make a blank for a pizza cutter. I'm going to do that out of this test tube. I've done this before with pins with a smaller test tube, and it works great. You just cut off the little tip there of the syringe, put your air compressor on it, and the blank comes sliding right out. So that works nice. And then I'm just gonna, whatever's left over, I'm gonna just random pour some more into a red Solo cup, and I don't know, make something else out of it. But so I'm gonna mix it up. This is mixed up two parts the A and 1 part B. This is the hardener. So I just use a cup, mark it out. I just went up 2 inches and then another inch for the hardener. Okay, I have my food coloring. I just took out all the same size for the pizza cutters. These are just random sizes in here, but I did take them in the house and wash them. Just with dishwashing soap, and they cleaned up pretty well. Somebody had mentioned washing them in some sort of solution to get them to look cleaner too, but I'm not even really sure if that's why. I think it's just the yellow in the epoxy that makes it look so dirty in there. But anyway, so they actually cleaned up pretty nice. So let's mix this up. Run it right up to your line. And this stuff is pretty temperature sensitive too, so you want to make sure it's warm in your shop, or you're going to do it outside or something. Alright, I'm just going to put a little bit in and see how this works. I may need to add some more. I've never tried to use food coloring. Wow, it doesn't take much. Alright, and two, when you're mixing this, right about when you feel like your arm's going to fall off, don't be a big wimp and keep going, because it needs to be mixed up thoroughly in it. Okay, and then this, I can actually fill up quite a bit. I'll be able to make something out of the whole thing. I think there might be too much in there. Kind of looks like there's, if you smash it around in there a little bit, it pushes them to the outside, so that will help, I think, when you're turn it. All right, I'm not gonna go anymore. Okay, I'm gonna clean up and then I'll show you the camera crane here real quick while that's drying. Okay, I had a few questions about my camera booms and how I made them, so I'll bring you closer here in just a sec, but I'll show you what I did and how I laid them out for the shop. So these are actually arms off of a one of those tents, the collapsible tents you put out in the backyard or whatever, but you can make it out of just aluminum square stock and drill your own holes. You just get the next size down and that works great too. I just happen to have these. I had the tent and I think the top of it shredded or something, so I just happen to have these. So I'll bring you over here and show you this real closer, but let me show you what I did when I laid it out in the shop. I put these things, there's one at each end, so that they hit all the tools. When you spin them around, I can get, when you see me cutting on the bandsaw here, I just bring it over, film the bandsaw, and when I'm working on the lathe, comes over here, I have tripod heads on both of them, and I can come in here. And the reason I did this was because having the tripod in the shop, the tools make it vibrate, and this will fix that. So what I did is, this is filled with weights down here to balance it, and I tightened this up so it rocks for just a second, and then it levels out. And then this one here is, hopefully you can see it. I don't have and I switch the weight back and forth on them. So this one here is when I get the shots on the table saw. It's right over the table saw, no vibration. And I actually, it's not extended, but when I'm using the surface sander, I hook my dust collector hose to this and it comes right off the top of it. And that way I can not have to drape hoses everywhere over it, so I just hook it right to that. Okay, so it's really simple. I just got a 2-inch dowel at Home Depot, a couple pieces of plywood, and a plywood to bolt to the ceiling. This is just a caster. I think it's, it looks like 1.5 inch, 2-inch caster, but you can vary that. I mean, it's not a big deal. The reason I doubled these up was because I screwed and glued the dowel to this first piece here, and then slid this up and screwed it to the plate. And I did the same thing here. That way I could screw the dowel into this bottom piece, glued it on, and then bolted the whole thing together. I haven't had any problems with it. They're both built the same way. They're sturdy. They're not going anywhere. So, and that's about it. And like I said before, you don't have to just use square aluminum tubing and it'll work great. Or I don't know, steel's pretty heavy, but it would probably work too. And then I just started putting weight in there until it balanced itself out. And what I did is I took kind of like an average on that, and because I move this thing in and out quite a bit, so every once in a while I'll throw just a little clamp on there if I want to bring it up or a little bit more. I put a couple of clamps on there and it raises and lowers it, but it's pretty balanced. So, but that is about it. There's not a whole lot to it. All right, as soon as the lamp's dry, I will get it put together and get that video up. It's turning out a lot better than I thought it was going to. But in the meantime, I hope that cleared up some questions about the epoxy and the camera boom I'm using. Before I go, I want to give a big thank you to Sarah and Charley from Slowvanah Farms. I'll put a link down below to their channel too. And they sent me a piece of Georgia pecan. So it's just beautiful. Looks like it has some great color in it too. Thank you very much, guys. And because I was messing around with all the epoxy stuff, they sent me a little bag of mother of pearl discs, so I'll put those in something too. And a little card, a little puppy print on it. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it. And one other thing, Ted Alexander, he made a comment on one of my paint chip videos. It's about to hit 1 million views. It's my first one, so he said I should mention it on the video. I'll put a link down below in the description, and I would appreciate help pushing it right over the top. All right, if this is your first time here, I have a new project video every Friday. I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe and like and share the videos. All right, as always, thank you for watching.